For years, the Braves have been hamstrung by international restrictions because of the whole John Capalella. They were giving money under the table, which is something that honestly happens around baseball. The Braves were just taking severe advantage of it, and they were given a punishment that was kind of ridiculous. They lost like 9 prospects. Those prospects turned out to be nothing, so that wasn't that big of a deal. But they weren't really allowed to compete in the international prospect pool for years, and now they finally are, and now they're in line to sign the top international prospect, Jose Perdomo. Now, I'm not going to get into like everything. I saw a comp on like Gleyber Torres and stuff like that. All I'm going to say is they're going to give him like a $6 million bonus, which for a player that's 17 years old and in the international prospect pool is that's a big deal. They obviously have a lot of confidence, but I think the bigger picture in all of this is just the fact that they're able to do this now. Like, they haven't been able to do this for 5 years. And when you look at the Braves farm system, you're like, how did it get so bad? Well, obviously there's graduations and stuff like that, but the Braves have drafted fantastically well. And a lot of those graduations were drafted recently and stuff like that. It shouldn't be this bad for as good as they've drafted. The problem is they haven't been able to sign any international guys for the most part for about 4 or 5 years. And now they finally are. And now I think, you'll start to see this farm system grow and get better. Obviously, these guys, he's 17 years old. Other guys that they sign might be 16 years old. They might pan out. They might not. They're not going to be in the majors for 5, 6, 7 years. But just getting that talent at the lower levels, it's a huge thing. And when you're talking about a club that's set up for 7, 8, 9 years, well, this is the perfect timing to get these guys in the building, develop them, and then when you start to move on from whoever, God forbid, Ronald Acuna, whatever, you have guys to fill in.
Well, speaking of Ronald Acuna, obviously money talks. You said it, upwards of $6 million. But Ronald Acuna Jr. is a king in Central and South America. Every kid grows up wanting to be Ronald Acuna Jr. at this grassroots. Now the kids go. And so this is exactly my point, that Ronald Acuna Jr. is kind of paying for himself in a way that obviously he puts butts in seats. He's wickedly entertaining. Oh, yeah, and he's just probably the best player outside of Ohtani. Let's just say one-way players, he's the best player in Major League Baseball. So he's kind of paying for himself. And it just goes to show that, this kind of move does pay dividends. Oh, yeah, he is a shortstop, and I wouldn't rule him out. A couple years, Ronald Acuna made his debut really young. We got the future shortstop of the Atlanta Braves here.
Yeah, I mean, it would be incredible, and I'm excited to watch him throughout this farm system to see how he develops. Coming up after the break, there was a report. Bill Belichick. NFC South teams are interested. Are the Falcons one of them?